Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Battle of the Week. Today we are going to take a look at a very interesting battle and at a very experimental concept where we're trying to find a good combination with pikemen and heavy infantry. The theory here is to use some of the units as bait. That was experiment number 1, and experiment number 2 is to not use bait and use one of the heavy infantry as a flank defense for the pikemen. Now, mind you, these are not the Canane pikemen, so they can't just spin around like fidget spinners. This is the Leonidas pikeman, which means the maneuverability is quite limited. So now we have the advancing phase, the positioning phase, where we have captured the flag and are blocking one of the entrances into this area in this map, Hadrian's Wall, which is one of my favorite maps. It's one of the new maps as well. And here we are blocking the front entrance. Enemies shooting inside. Now, one thing that this combination provides is that we both have anti-missile, which means the missiles will not be as much of a problem as using Caesar. So let's take a look. So first we do the experiment number 1, where I use my 2 units as a bait, but wide enough to let the pikemen come in and sweep from the side. So I suffer considerable damage over here. I make a big mistake and go into Testudo out of instinct. But we still managed to pull that position we wanted off. So now we're taking position over here and hitting them from the side. I'm pulling more towards the right, exposing the enemy into the pikemen. Moving around, and we find out that moving while taking damage is definitely not the way to go, as you can see from the sheer amounts of damage that I'm receiving here. Well, that's why I kept my general unit. Now I make a mistake due to the formed combat and get some friendly fire. Tiberius pushes back. So from this we have found that bait and pike is not a very good strategy. With this I lose 2 of my units, but let's see if the rest of our units will be able to compensate for that. On the other flanks, what we have got going on, I want to focus on that flank because of that experiment. On our other flanks we've got middle kind of being contested, kind of being balanced, and the right flank over here not doing very good, but these pikemen will not be able to advance much, so I want to say a stalemate. So what happens in this flank is going to determine the fate of the battle. So I have lost all my units. We did some pretty decent damage. So now we do the experiment number 2, which is I cover the right side of the pikemen. That's where the enemy is trying to pass through. And we stop the enemy from going around those pikemen and causing morale penalty. As you can see, as the pikes move forward, the men keep dying, and our protection allows them prevents them from being flanked. Slight repositioning over here. I see this potential unit that is trying to, with its back turned, might be a threat. Now this exposes a weakness in our plan, which is because I've been using only 1 unit to defend, these pikemen eventually got swarmed, these units around them, but pikemen, especially with Leonidas, are sturdy enough to hold their own for a long time. So now that I have cleared the enemy, I'm marching I'm running towards those flanking units that are trying to stop my friend, and I kind of hit his pikes a bit, but I tried to recompensate for that. He's also repositioning. Now we hit the guys who hit the pikemen in the back. The pikemen have routed, but the battle is not over because the men behind them have also routed. So, deactivate the charge. I realized I still had the formed combat on, so I deactivate it. And then the charge goes through. And the pikemen are back. They get hit by this cavalry right now. We have killed at least three of the enemy players. And here we take out the last unit. Another charge in. Three. So this shows the importance of those potential combinations that you can use. Let's take a look at what's going on the other flanks. In the middle flank, we have got some pikeman action going on. The reason you might be seeing this many pikemen is because pikemen are currently overpowered. Because their maneuverability, especially if you combine them with Kanane, they become nigh unstoppable right now. But I suspect that's going to be fixed in the future, so you see a lot of pikemen. See these pikemen very quickly turning around. So we have a bit of an engagement over here. We're marching towards the enemy base. Let's speed things up a bit. We have noticed an AFK player. So Tiberius goes in and collects all the free kills. The greedy bastard. Okay, let's take a closer look over here. So we are capturing the enemy base, but the enemy base is defended by 2 more pikemen. And seriously, how many pikemen are there? Sheesh. Okay, we've got 3 here. Oh my god, these pikemen are just ridiculous. So many pikemen. So now we have pikemen on pikemen action over here. Very boring action. It's more like inaction. Up. And we have the bug thingy where it gives us the annihilation. But what happens next is we have a bit of a pike battle, and there we avoid getting hit by the enemy long enough to capture the base. A little bit of a risky move, but that was definitely a valid move that won us the game. Otherwise, it would have just dragged on. We had a huge numerical advantage, so well, we won in the end. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was to show you, to give you some ideas on how you can combine these units into very powerful combinations like pikemen with heavy infantry on the side. Because what pikemen lack, or what they should lack in maneuverability, the heavy infantry provides, and whatever heavy infantry lacks in killing power, well, pikemen provide without receiving any damage frontally.